Hello and welcome back to the PuckLuck.com betting and fantasy team previews for Connor Bedard's. That's right. We're talking about the Chicago Blackhawks today, the winners of the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. They finished tied for second to last in points last year in the NHL with 59. They were bad. Every capacity. There really wasn't one shining part of this team. I'm shocked, frankly, they even got to 59 points. One of the worst teams in hockey, but I'm sure we're ready to move on if you're in Chicago, if you're a Blackhawks fan. And let's start talking about the future, which is bright. With the best prospect to come into the league is Connor McDavid. I think the sky is the limit on Connor Bedard. I'm a huge fan. And most of the questions I got about preseason stuff, like what are we doing? What's up with Connor Bedard? What can we expect in year one from a generational talent, from one of the top players, right off the cuff? And this guy's going to come into the league and be a force to be reckoned with. So let's get right into it. No sense in waiting around too long. Chicago Blackhawks season preview for the 2023-2024 season. PuckLuck.com projects them for 68 points. That would be an improvement from last year. I think a sizable one, all considered. You've definitely brought in more talent around the whole roster. It's not just Connor Bedard. This team is going to have a bit of a facelift overall. We're going to get into all the pieces. But what I think is the most important part about this team is that the floor is still unbelievably low just because of how bad they are defensively and in net. And while they picked up some, pieces that are, should help, I wouldn't get, too overexcited in year one. We've seen it with Crosby. We've seen it with McDavid. These teams take some time to get over the hump, get over that next level, build some chemistry with, some top line players and get more talent in there, which they still desperately need. This was a dynasty for a while that didn't build a very good prospect pool until recently. So it might take a little bit longer than you may want in Chicago, but let's stay the course and let's get over to the DraftKings Sportsbook odds for the Blackhawks. Plus 800 to make the playoffs over at DraftKings Sportsbook. 71.5 is their over-under on points. I don't like either of those at all. I think the playoffs is much worse than taking the over or under on the regular season points. It is an incredibly small shade towards the under for our model, which has them again at 68, so 71.5. Are you really going to lock up a ton of money entire NHL season? What I think is a fringe at best, probably not. So I don't like anything here. We have them projected at 19.5 to 1 for the division. 13 to 1 is what you're getting on DraftKings Sportsbook. And the Stanley Cup is a little bit closer. They have that 20 to 1 to win the cup, 20 to 1 to win the cup at DraftKings, and PuckLuck.com has them at 21 to 1. So close. But again, just get a life. Don't bet that. You don't have to. No one's going to make you. But what is Connor Bedard projected for? 69 very nice points is what we have Connor Bedard projected at, with a ceiling of 91. And that's really why I'm totally fine with putting my best bet on this team as the Connor Bedard over on points. 30.5 goals is a lot. I kind of should rather put the points when kind of getting the same odds, I believe, on both of them. He profiles to be one of the best rate shooting prospects we've ever seen. He certainly could put up over 30 goals in his rookie season. I buy that. I just think that there's still a lot of talent he's going to play with, and there's some good finishing ability around him that I'm fine with taking the maybe a little bit easier approach, if you will, the safer side of it with over 69.5 points. It's not my favorite bet in the world. It's not my favorite bet that we've talked about so far, but I think it's a bet nonetheless. Other than that, a lot of middling players here that, kind of all boom or bust. So get right into the roster. And really why they're all sort of middling is we don't know exactly who's going to be with Bedard, but I'm very confident Taylor Hall will be a piece of that puzzle with Connor Bedard. Other guy in, you can make an argument for a few. A lot of people I think Lucas Reichel is like the odds-on favorite other guy to go with Bedard and Taylor Hall, but they may, as we're projecting, have him at the second line center because he is, I think, maybe that talented, Lucas Reichel, that he could start to carry another line. I would love to see Donato. I'd love to see Kurashev, but Tyler Johnson's going to be there for now. Again, guys that have some level of, finishing ability, a decent rate shooting profile in general. So you're kind of, again, putting Bedard with players that can play hockey, that can finish, that can skate and play with him. in Taylor Hall and, one other guy to fill in. They also picked up Nick Foligno, Corey Perry, who really cares? Those guys suck now. And finally, we get to defense, which is, I didn't get a quote for this. I just went to at Fake Moods, Matt Moody. And Matt was really high on Kevin Korchinski. I'm really high on Kevin Korchinski. I think he is going to start to take over that first power play. It's not someone I think you're drafting in best puck or any, best ball format, but it definitely is a guy, especially in your deeper fantasy leagues, in yours, starting a new dynasty league. I would keep an eye on Kevin Korchinski. He profiles pretty well to be an offensive weapon. I think he's much better at running a first power play than Seth Jones, especially in the future, if not by the end of the season. So he will get time with Connor Bedard. And as Connor Bedard gets better and better, he will bring a defenseman with him. And I think it's Kevin Korchinski, who is just much better than Vlasic, Murphy, Zaitsev, and Giordano. It's just not even going to be that close. So I think the minutes will continue to go up over time. For a guy like Kamuchinski, he's a guy that I would, again, keep an eye, put him on your radar, and definitely consider in your deeper drafts. Goaltending is a disaster. So I'm going to keep that in there because I like this take. God bless you. Thank you. I think this Blackhawks team is improved, but bad. And I'm not going to be betting on anything over on this Blackhawks team. I would take the over on Bedard for points. The only other bet for player props, I might as well mention it, is Mrazek, who I said is terrible. It's 14.5 wins. I don't freaking know. I'd rather bet that over than take their point prop, to be frank. I don't really know who else could mix in there for starts. Soderblom is not really all that highly touted, but again, I think you could just, be better off avoiding terrible hockey teams being better than being terrible. So Connor Bedard over 69.5. Why not? I'll throw it into the mix. Thank you for listening. We'll be back next time very soon. We're just going to keep rattling these off day by day. So we'll talk to you soon.